Drip had a lot of opportunity for someone that is a skilled, um, affiliate marketer, someone that understands affiliate marketing. So, and that's the reason why he wanted to talk with us in the first place, because he thought some of the experience that he has could be really put to work in Drip because of the team referral structure. So, what we've worked out, and what I've worked out with both the firm and him and Bartertown, who's going to also assist from a networking perspective, because he's really tied in with a lot of other players in the space, is that we're going to bring him on as the CMO to manage the marketing budget, of course, with my with my guidance, and he will be working hand in hand with the firm, right? The firm that has provided marketing for Matic and Shopping.io and Sandbox. And what his role will be is using the services of the firm, but using his experience in tracking Webflow and tracking marketing analytics to determine what services we're getting the most turnaround from and are the most efficient use of our resources. And also, he'll be putting his experience in traditional marketing as well. So, for example, he really specializes in YouTube and social media marketing, YouTube ads, Twitter ads, Instagram ads, and I think it's the perfect marriage and exactly what we need, because we have a very strong network and the big name to get us in the door through their services and through their network. But we also have someone to help manage the budget that's extremely experienced in analyzing marketing performance and tracking Webflow to determine how many, for example, if we get a banner ad, he's very knowledgeable about how to track data as far as who's using, who was onboarded through this banner ad, how much capital did they spend in the system, how long did they stay in the system, and this kind of data. And he's already come up with a bunch of very good ideas on how we can use Drip's team structure, for example, to create kickbacks for people who, for example, use a banner ad. So one, without giving away too much, up front before we're ready to go with it, one example of this is that we could have a banner ad on, say, CoinMarketCap that uses a marketing team referral account, and any capital that is onboarded through this banner ad can get a kickback, and this kickback is coming from the referral bonus that is going to this marketing account. And it also allows us to determine what banner ads are actually resulting in not only bought drip, but drip that's depositing into the faucet, because we know if they're using that referral, it came from this specific ad. And this is the kind of experience that he's bringing into the table, how to set up systems to track traffic, track where our traffic is coming from, where we need to be putting resources, and setting up, for example, calls to action. Click this ad in this period of time to get this bonus, that kind of thing. So I think it's really what we needed, and he's also available to do all the other things that we needed as well, such as fielding marketing requests, reaching out to potential marketers, negotiating on our behalf as far as negotiating marketing rates. He's been working for over a decade doing marketing, so it's perfect And why it's perfect is because we need someone that is extremely connected in the crypto space. And of course, I'm very connected in the crypto space, but marketing is more than a full-time job, right? So if I'm going to be spending my time both in the community doing interviews and AMAs like this, which is a form of uh, it's one of the best forms of marketing you can have. Uh, but if I'm going to be spending my time doing this, which is, I think, the most effective kind of marketing I can do, and I'm also managing a full development team, and I'm also working on my vision for the next project, and I'm also trying to manage the community, and I'm also fielding DMs from people. It's just too much, and
Yeah, that's
what I've
true.
been doing for the past 5 or 6 months is really focusing on building up our team. So I'm not trying to do everything, myself, because essentially the way that I was managing it before is, uh, well, the first three projects I developed, I did 100% by myself. Everything, built the website, built the contracts, managed the community, did all the marketing. Then I brought on a partner. I brought on BB, and in that case, I was doing a lot of the development. He was helping with the development, and then I was still doing everything else. Um, Whereas now we have a project manager in Stonecutter who is someone that has worked in management, who is a bona fide professional, someone that's been working with me for the past 6 years as a moderator and administrator, and he really has taken the initiative to just do work, like really get work done before he was even getting paid to do so. So when I saw the need there for someone to step on as a project manager, he was the first person I thought of, and he's been doing amazing for us, right? And then I looked to hire a few additional developers. So who I've brought on is um, I brought on a very skilled game dev who I still haven't had a talk with him about whether he wants to be building behind the scenes or he wants to be named publicly. But he's a very skilled game dev that is known in the space, and he's also built mobile games, outside of crypto. I brought him on to help build the Pigpen Animal Farm game. This is finished. All the contracts are finished. We're doing testing now. We're really just waiting for the art assets to be finished. Now, but I think before I move on, let me just wrap up. Before I start talking about the game, and then for Drip, I wanted to do additional work for Drip without pulling developer time away from Animal Farm. So I brought on James Devstreak, who is a very skilled UI dev. He's built all of the alternative UIs for Drip and Animal Farm. He's also very good about taking on-chain data and making unique analytical tools out of them. So I brought him on to do the new UI for Drip, which we've already done a ton of the work for. All the design is done. All of the what we have a fully working demo on Figma right now. Really, it's mostly the Solidity work that needs to be completed for that to go live. And I hired a very skilled Solidity dev that I've worked with in the past. I've worked with him for a couple of years now, on and off. They are, just getting started on doing that. Although I already had another developer, one of the developers that's working on Animal Farms, already get started on the new UI. And then I have the Scratchy devs, two very, very skilled a UI and a Solidity dev that I meet with every 3 or 4 days to go over Scratchy development, which will be finished on the 17th. So things are really, really coming along. But with marketing, I want to just wrap up the marketing thing before I move on. what I wanted was someone who is very much tied into the space and has the ability to get us on essentially any platform we want to get on, but also is skilled at analyzing the performance that we're getting from the different marketing services and tracking traffic from these services to our platform. And in the firm, we have someone that can provide all the services we need at the top tier. But I saw a bit of a conflict of interest there, and now we found the last piece of the puzzle here, where we have someone who is extremely experienced in managing marketing budgets, is extremely experienced in marketing analytics and tracking web traffic, and is also extremely experienced in traditional marketing. And using him as the CMO in conjunction with the firm to provide the services and access, and then the networking and all of the access I have from working in the space for 10 years, and with the help of Bartertown, who's also tied into a lot of just general DeFi people. Like he's just someone that's just making a lot of moves in DeFi always. Um, I've never been more confident from a marketing perspective, and people have noticed right now because I'm super focused on development, but I don't want to neglect the community. Essentially, I've been doing one or two interviews or AMAs a week, but uh, we're about to wrap up development on everything we're working on, minus the drip stuff, which is being worked on now. The front end is almost finished. Right, the front end, we have all of the design finished and a working demo on Figma. But I want James Devstreak to really just have full access to it and see what he can do with it as well. And he's I had just got them on board essentially this week. I had a meeting with them last week. The essentially agreed to doing it. We just need to work on a outline, and that's what we did this week. And they're on board. So next week they're going to be full steam ahead building that out. So the plan is, and now that I've built out my team with, we brought on 5 new developers, right, that are all working on various projects in pairs of 2, right. In the case of Animal Farm, we have 2 developers that can do both Solidity and UI work. In Scratchy, we have someone. Well, all of them can do some Solidity and some UI work, but they have their specialties. So we have one developer for the Pigpen game. We have one developer, a game dev, that's doing both the UI and the Solidity work, and that is essentially finished. We just need the art assets. With Scratchy, we have an extremely skilled UI dev and extremely skilled Solidity dev. So 2 developers working on that. For the drip stuff, we have an extremely skilled UI dev in James Devstreak and extremely skilled Solidity dev in the other developer that I hired, who I'm sure I'll be naming who that is soon as well. I don't like to name people unless I have a specific communication with them that they're okay with me naming them. So some people like to be anonymous in crypto, so I like to respect that unless I have a conversation with them about that. And then with Animal Farm, I have the core devs that I've been working with for years. So give me 1 minute. I'm just gonna let my dog out.
That's all right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, one thing that is sure in life is, for you to really gain speed, you need to slow down sometimes. So, and by slowing down, that means, taking a back step to really reorganize, reorient, reassess what is needed in terms of resources, human resources, capital resources, and make sure, you start realigning them again. So really it's a right step in the right direction, to really take a step back, yeah, to build a team. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Every single time I have an AMA or an interview or something, it seems like someone shows up at my house and my dog goes crazy. My dog goes crazy anyways, but when someone comes over, it just it likes to let it be known that someone showed up. So,
Yeah.
um, so the marketing is we've never had someone to manage our marketing where that's their job and that's what they have experience in and that's specifically what they'll be focusing on. So that's going to be huge because we've got to where we are today just with community-based marketing and myself doing AMAs and interviews, which are important, and I'm going to continue to do that. But having someone there who's extremely experienced in both traditional marketing and has the network, and the access through the firm we're working through, uh, we're going to, the community is going to see marketing like they've never seen before from us, and I believe uh, on tier with the highest projects in the space. And I think we can even do better because we're using a top tier firm, but we also have someone that has over a decade of experience in traditional markets as well, which is not something that a lot of crypto firms bring to the table. A lot of them are, a lot of these crypto firms are essentially glorified secretaries. They're just filling out applications to get you banner ads on various sites and stuff that we could do on our own. But it is nice to have someone that has a long catalog of people, that they have access to and all that stuff. But in this case, we really have a top tier firm that is extremely connected and well respected in the space. And then we have someone to ensure that our incentives are aligned. And the CMO who I'm talking about is getting paid 100% based on performance. So they're getting paid for bringing capital onto our platform, period. No flat rate at all. So this is how our incentives are aligned because the person who is managing the marketing budget and determining what services we go with is only getting paid if those services work. And then we have the firm who is providing those services that is really deeply connected into the crypto space. But we're going to be doing a lot of traditional types of marketing as well. Twitter ads, YouTube ads. That's really his specialty and what he knows how to do. So we're going to take full advantage of that. Now, with the art assets that we're waiting for, we got the sketches back. The first sketches back, I would say, like on Monday, probably earlier this week, I believe, and actually no, on Friday of last week, and it's very high tier animations that is being done. We're going with a top tier studio to do the art. We were going back and forth on whether we would go with like have a contest in the community or go with a studio that this is what they do for a living, is create animations for video games. And we decided to do kind of a combination of both, where we hired the studio to do all of the assets, but with some of the communities we're working with, they've also had competitions, and we've got a few cool assets from these competitions that we're most likely going to use for promotion. So they're not going to be in-game assets. I believe those are going to come from the studio because it's really very cool animation that we're having made from there. But we've had a lot of cool assets and artwork made that we can use for promotion as well. And you guys have seen some of them. I've posted a
Yeah, yeah,
couple of those assets. Yeah. So
yeah.
the game is extremely exciting. The way that the game works, right? The Pigpen game is you will be depositing pigs to enter the game. These pigs get staked into the pig pen on your behalf, and then once a day, you're able to cash out of the game. You're able to cash the in-game currency out for BUSD and pigs, and these BUSD and pigs are being generated from the pig pen. So everybody who is staked in the pig pen through the game, the BUSD and pigs that are being generated from their stakes goes into the game's pot. And this can be used to either cash out of the game or buy stronger items and uh, stronger tools in the game. And the game is hacker based, meaning the theming is hacking, and it's both a passive and an active game. And essentially, the theming, the way it works is you're a hacker, right? And you buy into the game. When you buy into the game, you're essentially buying access to a botnet that you are launching when you start the game. And now, as your botnet spreads, you're taking control of servers, and these servers act kind of like an in-game currency, where you can sell access to the servers for BUSD, and this is essentially your way of cashing out of the game. But you can also trade access to these servers for other hacking tools, right? And um, I'm gonna save some of it for a surprise, but the theming of where you're selling access to these tools and or servers, and where you're buying these different tools and items is very cool. Everybody's gonna love it. And then it has an element of reputation, where as you progress in the game, you're building up your reputation, which gives you access to other hacker groups and more advanced hacker groups. And when you unlock these various hacker groups, you get access to their tools, which can provide a variety of mechanics to you. Either they can increase your passive gameplay, or they can be used to build up defenses to protect the servers that you've taken control of, or attack other players in the game and take control of their servers. So there's both a passive and an active element of the game. I think the game would make an awesome standalone project, but having it be part of the Pigpen adds a lot more value and a lot of fun, for people that want to be in the Pigpen, but also want it to be gamified. They want some ability to increase what they're earning in there by being better at the game than other players in the game. And it also it will incentivize more people to stay in the Pigpen, get into the Pigpen and stay in the Pigpen longer. So, I really can't wait to bring that to market. And then there's the updates that we've made to dogs and dogs crediting. And this is something that I spoke a little bit about in the last week, in the last AMA I did. We decided to make some slight changes to the model that I previously spoke about. So the way that this crediting is going to go is essentially, when you buy dogs or farm dogs or get credited dogs, which that will only happen once at the beginning, but when you are credited your dogs, all dogs essentially have a tax associated with it that starts out very high, but then through staking those dogs on the platform, you gain a loyalty score. And as this loyalty score increases, the tax you pay on the dogs is reduced. And there's two loyalty scores. There's a constant loyalty score, and there's a instant loyalty score. And I'm using this terminology just to to explain it to someone that may not be aware of the system or even DeFi in general. When we have the when I release the documents, the names of these things are slightly different, and of course, it will go into a lot more details in the documents. But the concept is when you stake the dogs on the platform, specifically in the single asset dogs staking pool, you earn a constant loyalty score and an instant loyalty score. The instant loyalty score is only applied to those tokens you staked. So you stake the dog tokens, and as you stake them, you're earning BNB. This BNB is coming from the dogs that are sold and the tax that's applied to them. So the lowest you can reduce your tax through increasing your loyalty score is 6%. So regardless of when or how long someone's staked for, there's always some tax associated with selling dogs. And that generates BNB, which is then paid to the single asset dog staking pool. Now, the tax that you pay on these dogs is relative to your instant loyalty score and your constant loyalty score. So by instant loyalty score, how that works is you stake 100 dogs, and as you have these 100 dogs staked, you're earning an instant and a constant loyalty score. The instant loyalty score is only relative to the dogs that you have staked. And this is made very clear on the front end, because when you go to sell these dogs, in order to sell them with a reduced tax, you have to sell them on our front end. It acts as PancakeSwap on the back end, but you sell them on our front end, and on our front end, it will tell you you have 100 dogs staked for 4 months. This has reduced your tax on these 100 dogs down to, say, 6%. So you can sell these dogs for a much lower tax because you've built up your loyalty score on the system. But this instant loyalty score only applies to those specific dogs. But you've also built up a constant loyalty score, which is building up over the life of your use of the system. So if you have a loyalty score of, say, 100, an instant loyalty score of 100, say, on 1,000 dog tokens, and you sell those 1,000 dog tokens, your instant loyalty score will be reduced to 0. So if you buy new dogs, or you farm new dogs, or you have new dogs sent to you, and you stake them, you're going to be starting at 0 as far as an instant score. But because you already had dogs staked previously, you will have a constant loyalty score of, say whatever the value is. So it's reduced your tax down by, say, 10%. Now, for the life of that wallet, for the life of that account, your tax will always be reduced by 10%. So it doesn't matter if you buy new dogs or farm new dogs, because your constant loyalty score has increased because you've used the system, you're always going to pay less of a tax on dogs. And the instant loyalty score is relative specifically to the tokens that you've had staked. So this will be more clear when we provide the documentation and the you're able to see it on the UI. But the main concept and the reason why we're doing it like this is because it's a form of vesting, in the sense that, yes, you can sell your dogs at any point whether they're credited or you buy them or you farm with them. But if you are not staking them for some period of time, you're going to pay a high tax on selling them. And 100% of that tax that's applied to the dogs is swapped for BNB and BUSD. 2/3 of it goes to the single asset dog staking pool in the form of BNB. 1/3 goes to the pig pen in the form of BUSD. So this is also going to generate a ton of capital for the pig pen as well. And the reason why we have 2 loyalty scores is because we don't want a system where someone can stake a small amount of tokens for some period of time to build up a loyalty score, and now for the life of that account, for the life of that wallet, they pay little to no tax on any of their dogs that they buy. Because that would provide a system where someone could set up a wallet, for example, stake $2 worth of dogs. Now they've built up a high loyalty score. Now they could sell access to that wallet, or just decide, all right, I have no tax now. Now I'm going to whale in, and now I'm going to trade with no tax. So the way it works is the instant loyalty score is placed specifically on a specific amount of tokens, and that's the amount of tokens you've had staked. And now the constant loyalty score is based on your account, how active you've been in the system for your account. And the constant loyalty score is capped at 30%, which means it can reduce your tax up to 30% for the life of the account. So if you say you buy 1,000 dog tokens, or you farm 1,000 dog tokens, you get credited 1,000 dog tokens, and you stake them for a year, and you've built up your loyalty points. You've maxed them out. So now the tax on selling those dogs is only 6% on those 1,000 dogs. And you've also, because you've been staked for a year, maxed out your constant loyalty score as well. So that's maxed out. So now it's reducing it by 30. The way this will work is now you sell all 1,000 of those dog tokens. Your instant loyalty score will be reduced down to 0. But you'll maintain that constant loyalty score, meaning any dogs you buy or farm in the future at any point from that wallet will have the tax reduced by 30%. So it rewards people for being long-term participants in the system, both on specific tokens where you can reduce it all the way down to almost nothing, and for being a long-term participant in the system on all tokens that you are transacting as well. So I believe it's a system that's going to work very well, and it's really it's really a matter of producing the documentation and providing the front end to people to really make the concept crystal clear so people understand it. But the reason why it's so bullish, and really this kind of system could be done from the ground up, but it's even more bullish in the current situation that we're in, is because there's anywhere between $30 and $50 million worth of capital backing the dog's token right now. So when these dogs get credited and they have a form of vesting in the form of a 90% tax placed on them instantly, it allows weak hands. If you want to dump right away, if you want to get your dog tokens and instantly dump, that's fine. You can do that. But you're taking 90% of that capital, of that value, and turning it into BNB and BUSD that's getting paid to the stakers, paid to the strong hands. Now, you can take those dogs and stake them in the single asset dog staking pool, and that's going to reduce your tax down all the way down to 6%. So you're only paying a 6% tax, and that whole time while you've been staked, you're earning B&B. And it acts as a form of investing where you know, regardless of how we decide to do it, we needed some form of vesting in the dogs token, because you can't just uh, you know send out the total supply of tokens at once to people's wallets and allow them to put those tokens right on the market. That's not good for anybody, because you're going to have a bank run. You're going to have people saying, well, even people that want to hold, they're going to have the mindset that, all right, I want to hold, I want to stay in, but some percentage of people are going to dump when they get their tokens, so I better dump first, and then I can buy back in lower. So to prevent that, you need some kind of vesting. But I didn't want a traditional vesting model where, say, we lock up 90% of the tokens, we make 10% available immediately, and then we unlock, say, 2 or 5% or 10% a week, for example, because then people are just going to sell the tokens as they get them, and it's going to be a bleed.
Yeah.
Where in this case, it's the best of both worlds, where you are getting vesting because people are not going to want to dump with that massive tax associated with it. But we all know some people are going to dump, but those people that do dump are just generating a ton of capital for the people that are not dumping. And the reason why I'm so bullish for new investors is because even if 100% of the people that were credited dump, fine. All they've done is created $30 to $40 million worth of BNB and BUSD that are going to get paid out to the new buyers and the people that don't dump. And then,
Right.
if you're getting credited and you decide not to dump, you decide to, stake, you have all of the benefit of someone that is a new buyer, because you're able to stake those dogs immediately and start earning B&B from the people that do dump. So, and reduce your tax. Reduce your tax down all the way to 6%. 6% on the tokens that are staked, and reduce the tax up to 30% on all dogs that you buy after that. And then the dogs that you buy after that, yes, they'll be, if your constant loyalty score is built all the way up, you'll start off with the 30% reduction in tax, but you can also stake those dogs to reduce it all the way down to 6% as well. It's going to take you less time to do that, because you're starting off with a 30% head start. So it's the perfect game theory, I feel, for the situation. And it's even more bullish than if we started off from the ground up, because we're starting off with a huge capital pool that can be used to reward strong hands, and it's just essentially a value transfer from weak hands to strong hands. Another big part.
Can I ask a question,
Sure.
Forex? For the dog BNB and the dog BUSD LPs, what happens to those? Because I think what we are discussing right now is bordering a lot on the dog token, single dog. Yeah, if you want to touch on that, please.
Yeah. Okay. So currently, almost all of the dogs are in the single asset dog staking pool. So it's over 80% of the dogs are in the single asset dog staking pool, between dogs that were in circulation, dogs that were available to claim, meaning dogs that were not yet claimed in the Master Chef, but were available to claim at the time of pausing, and dogs that were in wallets. So that makes up over 87%, is something like 87% of all the dogs in circulation. There's another portion of dogs that were in dogs B&B and dogs BUSD. Now, the way that this is going to work is that the the LP that's in dogs that's that's backing the value of the dogs token, 100% of that will be added. So when the dog token is made available, essentially, you know, I could call it that, is credited, it will be credited and listed at the exact same price it was when we paused. Now, everybody, regardless of if you were in dogs LPs or single asset dogs, will be credited in single asset dogs. And the way, and this is for several reasons. For one reason is because there's no way to put these kinds of mechanics on an LP token. LP token is a standard well, not ERC20, in this case BEP20 token that has no programmability at all, really. So the way that the dog single asset staking works is a auto compounding pool and a conventional staking pool. If you get into the auto compounding pool, then the BNB that you earn is automatically paired for you with BNB and staked for you in the farm. So if you previously had a dogs BNB pairing or a dogs BSD pairing, essentially you want to be in the farm, you can take your credited dogs, which are valued, right, which will be valued at the exact same USD value as your LP tokens were, put them in the auto compounding pool, and now it's going to take all of the BNB that you earn in that pool, pair it with your dogs, and put it in the farm, you know, as the LP token for you. So it's working exactly the same way as a traditional vesting contract would work, where you can decide that you want to put your tokens in the non-compounding one, where you're going to earn BNB and reduce your tax, or if you want to move into the LP token, you can get into the auto compounding contract, and now it's going to automatically pair that BNB with dogs for you and move you into the LP token. So regardless of whether you were in LP tokens or you were in dog tokens, you're going to get the same USD value that you had at the point of pausing. And the difference is that you then have an option of where you move those tokens to reduce your tax and determine whether you want to reduce your tax and stay in the single asset, or reduce your tax and move into LPs. So it's just it's a unique form of vesting that gives more freedom to the person with the vested tokens, because you can decide that you want to dump the tokens if you want, but if you do that, you're going to pay a high tax if you just immediately dump it, and all of that is generating BNB and BUSD to the people who don't do that. And you know, currently the pigs token, it's it's functioning perfectly. It's functioning exactly how we would want to function, but it really gets its value from the farm. I mean, the value case for the pigs token is it's the governance token for the farm that allows you to earn both from the deposit fees on the farm and the taxes associated with the dog token. So the way I see the pig token right now is a vehicle that allows you to invest in the farm before it goes live. And this is a way to invest in value instead of investing in hype, because you get in now, you're getting in essentially at the ground floor before that value case comes into play. And once the animal farm goes live, it's going to be generating a ton of BUSD for the pig pen, but now even more so with the new vesting protocol on dogs. And again, this vesting protocol on dogs is not just being placed on credited dogs. It's being placed on all dogs that are earned for the life of the system. So it's going to be a consistent, high value cash flow of BUSD going to the pig pen and B&B going to the single asset dogs crediting pool. So, or not crediting pool, but single asset staking pool, I should say.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. So, right now, we also built a dogs roulette game, which I've talked a bit about in the past. It's a high paced game where you're uh, essentially playing a game of Russian roulette, where you can buy bullets with dogs or with BUSD. If you buy bullets with dogs, then you can buy one bullet at a time, essentially with dogs, or you can buy bullets in bulk with BUSD, and you get a price break. Now, all the BUSD that is used to buy bullets buys the dog token and sends those dog tokens to the price pot, the game's pot. Now, when you buy a bullet or buy bullets in bulk, you essentially get you get a balance on the game, and every time you play, you have a 1 in 6 chance of winning. Now, when you enter into the game, the BUSD that was used to buy dogs, right, is now those dogs are essentially sitting in your balance. Or if you just buy a single bullet at a time and you buy with dogs, then they're sitting in the balance. And when you enter to the game, you're taking those dogs, putting them into the pot, and now you have a 1 in 6 chance of of winning the pot. Now, say you don't win the pot, your dogs stay in the pot for the next person that plays, and they play. They don't win. Their dogs go in the pot, and the pot keeps building up until someone hits that 1 in 6 chance, and they get the full payout. And after doing a ton of projections, the average pot is 3 times the money that you put in. So the average payout is 3 times the price of a bullet to enter the game, and 30% of all the dogs that goes into buying into the game is burned. Another 10% goes into a treasury. So every single game, every single pot, the pot is getting larger and larger and larger because the treasury is building up. So that's another just high paced, fun, simple to play game that we're introducing into the farm that will be burning a ton of dogs. It's whitelisted from the loyalty contract, for example. So all of the staking contracts, the farm contracts, the pool contracts, the game contracts, they're all whitelisted from this loyalty score. The only time that the loyalty score comes into play is if you're selling dogs, and the loyalty score determines the tax you pay. So it's a form of game theory that has never been done in yield farming, but it's really, I feel, the missing piece to add stability to a farm reward token. And then you have the governance model that allows the users of the farm to also be the beneficiaries of the farm and make the dividends from people that are entering it. Another major benefit, and something that I see us bringing to the table right now, is lending. So all of these other centralized and pseudo centralized lending protocols are falling apart because they're doing all kinds of like incestuous lending where you're lending to a centralized service that's lending to a low yield, um, you know, uh, whatever. I'm blanking on some of the names of these staking services, but they lend to those, and then this lending service takes their capital and lends it back to the centralized service, and you have this kind of fractionalized lending that's going on in the system right now, and there's very few places that you can get yield where you have a reasonable expectation of security, and you know that you're not going to go to withdraw one day and the capital is just not in there. We have a lending model that actually works. We're lending all on chain, 100% on chain to PancakeSwap, and it's all verifiable, on chain, and it's a lending model that works, that's proven to work, and that allows us to earn an additional 30 to 40% APY uh, on hundreds of millions of dollars every year, which is going to be used for BUSD payouts to the Pigpen. And then let me just speak to one more thing that we will be implementing when we go live. And all of these things that I'm mentioning are things that are either built or are 95% of the way built, and we're really just wrapping up testing and wrapping up the getting art assets, really the final implementations of them. All of them are going to be 100% complete when we go live. So this way, when we say, in 2 weeks we're going to drop this, in 2 weeks after that we're going to drop that, it's already built. It's just a matter of turning it on in the system. So, the final thing that I want to talk about that is already built. This is one of the things that's already built and ready to go. It's just a matter of the farm going live. Is a form of crowd investing or crowdfunding, and we're going to take advantage of the governance protocol to do this. And the way it will work is a small percentage of the BUSD, which is generated on the back end through the lending to PancakeSwap, the collateral rehypothecation, will be used to stake in various other platforms based on the vote of the community. So the community will make monthly or bi-monthly votes on where they want to put a percentage of the yield that's generated from this staking. And it can be everything from like the latest AVAX node, a new farm that just launched, a new partner protocol that we're going to host vaults with. It really is extremely flexible because it will be the community who determines where they want to put this capital and where they want to apply risk to. And also, it will be a very small percentage of the BUs that's generated. So anywhere from 1 to 3%. So this is another great use of the governance model that I think the community is going to have a lot of fun with, and it allows for a lot more excitement and a lot more action out of the governance model. So these are things that I'm all super excited about. Everything is built except for the Pigpen game. We need the art assets. We have the sketches done. We're waiting for the final version of the art assets, and some of the testing on the dogs crediting. So the loyalty system, all that stuff. We're completing the testing there, and again, I don't like giving dates until all of it's finished, but we are very, very, very close. Very close. And the idea is we don't want to give a date until it's 100% finished. We're ready to go. But once we have that date announced, once we have those dates to announce, we will have everything built. 5 new products ready to go on Animal Farm that we'll be able to release we'll be releasing 2 or 3 of them right up front because we have to. They're necessary for the functionality of the farm. And then every couple weeks after that, we'll be launching a new, innovative, high demand product that I know is gonna blow people away, and marketing that's not even comparable to what we've done in the past because we've never had a full marketing firm behind us. We've never had a full-time CMO behind us. Now that I have a project manager as well, to really help manage workflow and ensuring that we're efficiently getting everything done, we're ready to just produce like we never have in the past, and I'm extremely excited about it. It's uh, I'm really one of the reasons why I'm only doing 1 or 2 AMAs or interviews a week is because I really just want to have these dates and be able to announce the dates. And until I have these dates to announce, I would rather be spending my time, 100% of my time, getting us ready to launch. So when we have the dates, then it's all hands on deck. But I've been spending 100% of my time working with the developers, ensuring that our developing is getting done as fast as possible, and building up our marketing vehicle and our marketing plan. So as soon as we're ready, we're gonna go live with it. So that's about it. I could go into a lot more detail about everything, but we're gonna have documentation ready to go very soon. We'll have documentation out on some of the products before before we even have the launch dates ready, because once the development is finished, while we're running tests, we can have the documentation being built, and that's what we're working on right now. So everybody really just at this point, be patient, uh, invest in the assets right now that give you exposure to future value. And at this point right now, it's drip and it's pigs, and of course B-Read. So and then Scratchy. I don't want to get into Scratchy right now because I want to have a chance to answer questions for people. But Scratchy is going to play a major role in both Drip and Animal Farm, and future partnerships, and the ability to create cash flows for our native assets. And one thing that we've just recently decided to do with Scratchy is form a affiliate marketing structure that allows essentially anybody who secures the hosting of our Scratch Ticket protocol on a platform to earn a percentage of all the B&B that's generated from the sale of tickets on that platform. So, this is going to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars generated for whoever steps up to secure the hosting on these platforms. And in some cases, it will be the platforms themselves that are earning this. But ideally, it's members of the community that are reaching out that are getting our products hosted on these platforms. So we're very, very close to being able to give launch dates. Scratchy will be finished on the 17th. The art assets should be ready by next week. We're wrapping up the testing of everything. We want to get a formal audit on the new Animal Farm contracts. That will take anywhere from a week to maybe a week and a half, something like that. and then we should be ready to go with launch dates. But until it's finished, I don't want to give that specific date. But we're right around the corner, and we've been really putting in the work behind the scenes to make it happen. So when we do go live, we can do it right. So, Folly, I don't know how you want to handle it. If you have some questions for me, or if you see some questions in the chat, or
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes. They are definitely good questions. So what I've done is, created a very interactive poll where people upvote questions that wants to be asked. So I'm just going to go with the list. So at the top of the list, with 29 upvotes, which is the highest, lending protocol. Given the volatility of the drip price, how will the value of a faucet account be measured to enable a loan against its future value?
Yeah, so I can't I can't give too much details about the lending protocol, because you see what happens. I give details about what I want to do. Right, I say I want to build a lending protocol, and then a project who had no intentions to do any kind of lending decides that they want to add some sort of lending protocol onto their project.
Gotcha.
And then it breaks because they take what I say what I want to do. They take some crumbs and then do it backwards and all kinds of weird shit. So so I want to be very careful about what I say, but there'll be an element of risk. So the way that we're going to launch the initial version of this lending protocol with stable coins and maybe one non-stable coin, and then we're going to implement our native assets to it. So that's the way that it's going to work, and the risk associated with the asset is going to determine the interest that the user pays to lend against it. So and also the loan will not be issued in the asset that you have staked as collateral. So so I can't get too much more into it, because this is something that 100% I'm going to build. What we're going to do is what I'm going to do is complete the animal farm products, the 5 or 6 animal farm products that are essentially ready to go. Launch Animal Farm, launch the core Animal Farm contracts, then release a new Animal Farm product every few weeks moving forward. Uh, in September, we plan to launch Scratchy. And from that point on, it's going to be about marketing our existing products. And then I'm going to get full hands-on into developing the lending protocol. So I would like the lending protocol to be at least at the point where the contracts are finished and it's either ready to go or in the auditing marketing phase by end of year. So I can't give too much details about the lending protocol, because I just people know that we have a major investor base, and they know that if they hear that I'm talking about something, then clearly our investor base is interested in it, and they can try to get some exposure by taking that idea and running with it. And this is why I never gave too many details about the lending protocol to begin with. So people that do try to copy us didn't have much to go with, and they end up doing some like half-baked idea. But
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes total sense.
The lending protocol is I have it really I've worked out the whole concept. It's really well designed, and I believe it's going to revolutionize lending in crypto, because we, especially right now is the perfect time to start working on it, because the space has realized that centralized lending and even DeFi lending that is interacting with centralized lending pools are all at risk and are all extremely vulnerable. And to have a fully on-chain lending protocol that allows peer-to-peer lending and secured loans that is not just fully collateralized but over collateralized and truly over collateralized is something that the crypto market needs
Yeah.
and is will and will be willing to pay for, in the sense that they'll be willing to pay interest to take out a loan against capital that they're earning yield on, and those who are able to provide a lending pool to issue loans. Uh, this is a model that they'll be able to earn yield on securely without having to worry that the capital that they're lending out is going to some centralized pool that is basically defrauding them. So
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to build it. That and a privacy model. So really,
Right.
the three main things that I want to build is I want to build the current things that we're working on and create a very strong marketing infrastructure for them, so they're self-sufficient and able to so I have full-time employees that are just focused on marketing our existing products, so I can focus on building the new products to come, which will support our existing assets. And
Mm.
the three main things I want to do is lending, privacy, and gaming. And
Mm.
with the privacy model, uh, I know what I want to do. It's a matter of building it. With the lending, I know what I want to do. It's a matter of building it. And same with gaming. And
Mm.
with gaming, uh, I've been recently looking at the ability to integrate Unity into or on chain. So
Mm.
I think there's a lot of opportunity to build like a legit 3D game. I think it needs to be turn based to have it be fair and not have cheating. But I think there is room there for a really high end, 3D, fully animated, AAA style game built on
Mm.
Unity, on chain, and I think a turn based auto battler, but not not Axie Infinity level. I'm talking like the kind of um, turn based RPG battler games that you would play on a PlayStation 5 right now, like the
Mm.
Final Fantasy type game,
Nice.
that level. And that's what I'm interested in building as far as the game.
Yeah.
But these are all things to come. Right now, my full focus is getting Animal Farm live, launching the
Mm.
5 products that are that we've built for Animal Farm, and having the new UI for Drip build and the new products that we built for Drip uh, for both the faucet and the reservoir. So we've built new contracts for the faucet and the reservoir. Well, I shouldn't say we built them. We've designed them, and we're going to start building them next week. I've spent the past 2 weeks getting the 2 developers up to date to get them to the point where they're ready to start building, and that will start
Mm.
next week. And it's going to be contracts that incentivize people to use both the faucet and the reservoir, and it's it's not one of these systems where it's like whoever's the largest buyer that day, so you have that big spike at the end of the day that just creates an opportunity for whales to dump into, and it's not a random depositor or buyer using on-chain values, which is exploitable, and it's going to be much cleaner and a major improvement. It kind of is that kind of model, but a major improvement on it. So
Mm.
you guys will be hearing more information about that. The next thing that's going to come, the next thing that you guys will see is the documentation. And
Mm.
I would like to get the documentation out for everything, like all
Mm.
our products, um, by I would say late next week or the following week. We're gonna get started on it immediately next week. Oh, another thing that I know you guys will be excited about is we have reached back out to fiat on ramps and submitted our applications for both Animal Farm, Pigs Token, and Drip. So
Right.
that's something that I spoke about previously. We I had submitted an application for Drip on one of those services, like I don't know, 6 months ago, and then we had these things come up with Animal Farm. I've been super busy with it, but I was just talking to my project manager a couple days ago. Told him I really wanted to get on that, and and he has. So today he submitted the application for both MoonPay and one other service that can provide fiat on ramps. And once we have fiat on ramps, that opens a lot of doors for us. And we're not just doing it for
Beautiful.
drip; we're doing it for Animal Farm as well. So that's something
I
that
mean,
we're in the process of taking care of as well.
beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, that has been long waited for. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think your other response actually answered my second question.
Okay.
I will say it regardless. So people were saying, I mean, shout out to Easy Step. I don't know if you know him. He has been on, promoting the reservoir for a while now. So
Yep.
his growing support, I mean, for the overall ecosystem has been overwhelming. But then people are really asking, how can we, support the reservoir and utilize it
Yeah.
to the max to really, create that ever increasing price floor through locked liquidity and all whatnot. I don't know if you want to touch on that again,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Okay. So all right. So uh the working concept. I hate to say what we're building for it when the development is not finished because it's people will steal your ideas, launch it first, not do it the correct way, or do it with some like small investment, uh, investor base, and kind of ruin a good idea by bad execution and not having an investor base. But um, we're essentially developing a, a a form of um, let's just say a reward structure for both um, the reservoir and the faucet that is a gamified reward structure that rewards people for consistently making deposits into the reservoir, um, and making large deposits into the reservoir and the faucet, and it's gamified so people who are not whales can also earn from the system. So so we'll still have the same faucet contracts and the same reservoir contracts that you can interact with exactly the same as you're doing now, but we'll have another layer of contracts on top of them that you can choose to interact with, and these are more gamified, and they have different reward models. Reward models for doing larger deposits, reward models for doing consistent deposits, prizes that you can win just randomly. Just randomly making a deposit and winning. So uh, this is what we're working on right now, and we're working on something that's unique and and not something that can be exploited by whales or scalpers. Something that's really going to reward the community and make interacting with these contracts fun. And people that just want, I just straight up, I want to enter into the faucet. I want to keep my faucet stakes how they are. I like it. I like the system how it is. Nothing's changing, but it's just another option that allows you to interact with the reservoir and the faucet in a more gamified fashion. So that's what we're working on right now. And then we're also building a new UI. And the new UI, we already have a working demo that is uh, based on uh, the top tier investment bank template. So investment banks spend billions of dollars every year to build their UIs to get people to use their products, both in search engine optimization, which has a lot to do with the way you design your UI, to get people to to click on your search result to get you high on the list, but also when you get to the site, get those people to actually use your products, and that's done through proper delivery on the benefits of the product, through testimonials, through a clear display of how to use the products, and then we're working with James Devstreak, who's very good at taking on-chain analytical data and turning it into different investment tools and different analytic tools. And this is something that also makes the average user want to interact more because it breaks the data down into easier to understand bits. So, for example, one of the analytical tools we're working on will tell you if you stake this much for this period of time, you will be earning one drip by this time. So instead of breaking it down to I'm earning zero point 0.1 drip a day, it will also tell you if you deposit, you could say I want to deposit this much, and it will tell you if you deposit this much, you'll be earning this much drip a day, this much drip a week, this much drip a month, and this much drip by the end of your 365. And you can put in how often you want to compound, and we'll update those values. And it makes it a lot easier to understand the value that they're getting from the system and plan how they want to invest. And it just makes it more fun. And, if someone knows if I stake this much and I compound for this often, I'll be earning one drip a day. And those are easy data points for people to understand. And this is why I hired James Devstreak to come on, because he's very good at producing these tools and front ends that allow for this kind of thing. So, it's all those things. It's everything. And this is, starting next week, full development will be on par. Now, previously, I've had the same developers who are working on Animal Farm, working on Drip, and working on everything else as well. The raise that we've had in Reap, which involves whitelisting contracts, handling everything. Over the past few months, I've hired additional developers who I've worked with in the past, who have very good track records, to be specifically devoted to Drip. And no matter who does the development, goes by me. So essentially, the developers are there doing the coding, the day-to-day coding, the most of it. But yeah, I'm there talking to them every day, saying, "I want it done this way. I want it done that way. Do this, do that. We want it exactly like this." And then when it's finished, it gets audited by me. It gets audited by all the other developers on the team, and we'll have formal audits done as well. So the quality is there, and we're ready to produce like we never have before, because it's always, the whole time it's been a 1 or 2 man team, and now we have a 5-man team of developers. We have a CMO, we have a project manager, and we have a firm behind us. And a lot of this work is being done behind the scenes, but in a couple of weeks, it's not going to be behind the scenes anymore, right? It's going to be a full-on marketing campaign, and all this development we've been done behind the scenes is going to be public. We're going to start producing it. So, very exciting.
Yeah, cool. Thanks so much for the in-depth description of things that would help the faucet, because I think for one, I think faucet and reservoir actually needs some sort of buffer at this point. But yeah, thanks for mentioning all of that. Even though
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
The thing is that the faucet and the reservoir are both doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're working and they're functioning perfectly.
Yeah.
We provided alternatives for people that want to stake drip, and
Mm-hmm.
people always want to stake in whatever the new flashy thing is, even if it's higher risk. And that caused some of the capital that was in the drip tax vault and the faucet to migrate over. But I think the important thing to realize is that drip did not hit the market. Almost all of that drip just went from one staking contract to another staking contract. And this is
Right.
evident by the fact that the whole market is down 80-90%, especially altcoins. Most altcoins are dead or down 90%. Cake is down 90%, for example. And so we're on par with the rest of the market. We've corrected with the rest of the market while paying out 1% compound interest, which is something that none of these other projects that are sustaining like us are able to do. Cake is paying out what 30 or 40% a year, and we've corrected the same as Cake while paying out 1% compound interest. They're paying out 30%. So we are performing very well, and just based on our performance alone, it makes it very clear that the drip that was in the tax vault that isn't in the tax vault now didn't get sold on market. It just went into other staking contracts. Of course, some small percentage of it hit the market, but the vast majority of it was maintained in existing contracts. And when we have the drip BUSD animal farm pool ready to go, there's another awesome utility in the pigpen game for drip that's people are gonna love, and I can't wait to announce that. And then Scratchy, massive, massive for drip and animal farm. There's a lot in the works that's gonna be finished very shortly for animal farm, like by the end of the month. So, and we'll have dates. So we're
Yeah, yeah.
there,
I
right?
mean,
We're in the final stretch.
I totally agree with you, Forex, in terms of drip being able to pay. What drip is doing is magical, because how does it stay stable at that particular price? Even though the whole market is correcting, paying more than 120,000 people 1% daily, and still
Yeah,
doing better than other coins and other tokens. It's magical, to be honest. And yeah,
yeah,
thanks for clarifying. I'm mentioning that. So now that you mentioned Pancake Swap, right? Paying 40% APY, and that's true. I would just like to know, the replicated funds. Do we know what that value is right now? And have you made up your mind on what that will be used for?
say that again. The what?
Oh,
Oh, we have replicated funds.
yes, right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. So what that's being used for is what the majority of it is being used for is to pay BUSD to the pigpen. So the reason why I wanted some flexibility is because I wanted to be able to go and decide, do we want it for buybacks or do we want it for pigpen injections. Now it's after testing this, it's 100% better used for pigpen injections, because instead of putting that capital on the market that allows any scalper or whale to dump into, we're rewarding it to the long-term holders of the platform. Now, so the majority of it is used for pigpen injections. We're going to use a percentage of it for marketing. And now that we have a very strong marketing plan and a marketing team, it's really going to be used extremely efficiently. And all of that capital that we generated in BUSD, none of it's been touched. While V1 was live, we were generating capital in the form of cake, which can be sold for BUSD and used for pigpen injections and marketing. None of that's been touched. It's all sitting there, still in the account. Anybody can look. None of it's moved. So when we go live, that cake that's been generated through rehypothecation, the majority of it will be sold for BUSD and used for pigpen injections. About 30% of it will be used for marketing and to pay the gas cost, because there's a lot of transactions going on Animal Farm, and we have an account that that some of the cake is sold for B&B and sent there to pay for platform fees. And what that's doing is essentially subsidizing the gas cost. So people that want to compound in the system or deposit into the system are able to pay very low gas prices instead of high gas prices. Because when you have something, for example, that needs to update everybody's loyalty score or needs to take funds, deposit them into the rehypothecation contract, take the deposit fee, sell it for BUSD, send some of that BUSD to the liquidity helper to pair with dogs, send some of it to the pigpen for immediate payouts, send some to the pigpen vault. All of this stuff costs gas, and if this was not subsidized, then the gas would be pretty high. So this is why we're using 10% of the capital that's earned from the rehypothecation in the back end, swapping it for BNB, putting it in a platform wallet, and the contracts that are taking place on the platform, or sorry, the transactions that are taking place on the platform, are utilizing this BNB to subsidize gas to keep the gas costs down. So that's the only BNB that's moved from this rehypothecation has gone into this wallet that's been used to subsidize gas costs. And then a small fraction of it, 1 to 3%, will be used for this crowdfunding that people will vote on where they want it to be staked. And it will be staked, and the yield that is generated from the stakes will be swapped for BUSD and used for pigpen injections. So this is going to be a crowdfunding mechanism that stakers of the PIX token can vote on using the governance protocol where they want it to be staked, and then the capital that's earned from this stake will be swapped for BUSD and paid out in pigpen injections. So that's where the collateral rehypothecation capital is going, and so far it's all sitting there. We're going to use a fair amount of it for the run up to the marketing campaign. So once we have a launch date, we're going to have a month-long marketing campaign where it's very strong, both paid and what we call direct marketing. When I say direct marketing, I mean like me in interviews and me in AMAs, and paid marketing in the form of YouTube ads, Twitter ads, banner ads, all of that, for at least a month after we've had the launch dates. And that's really to let everybody from outside the community know, hey guys, we're about to go live. This is massive. There's no other project like in the space. Check out this game. This is an awesome game. This is a platform that allows you to earn both yield on your assets and lend out your collateral while you're earning yield on it. We have the supply control algorithm, which has adjustable emission rates to allow for deflationary assets when there's a weighted demand and higher rewards when there's an increase in demand. And so much more. There's so much that we're bringing to the table with this Animal Farm platform, and we need to be able to market it to the wider community. And then another thing that we really need to market to new capital is that we have about $30 to $40 million worth of capital right now that is going to be accessible to single asset stakers whenever someone that's getting credited sells early, or whenever anybody buys or farms dogs and sells early. And this is a major opportunity for both people that are getting credited and new capital to come in, because we all know there's going to be some percentage of weak hands when they get those dogs, and that's millions of dollars worth of BNB and BUSD that's going to get paid out to the non-weak hands and the new buyers that come in. So these are all things we need to get across to the wider community outside of our own, and that's what marketing is all about. So we're gonna have a very strong marketing campaign for about a month once those dates have been announced. So
Nice.
it's
That's good.
yeah. So I have about 20 minutes to if you have more questions, I'll try to answer them quicker.
Yeah, let's do two more. Let's do two or three more, and yeah, that will be it. Yeah. So, do you want to touch on the mini DAO? I mean, in a few sentences, Yeah, I know you've spoken about it. I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
good time or you want to hold on to. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Then.
No, I can mention it. So, with Scratchy, right? Scratchy, I believe, is the most gamified staking protocol ever. Scratchy is massive. Scratchy is the first decentralized scratch ticket protocol that has uh, a decentralized ownership revenue sharing model that allows people to both buy tickets to win a prize, but also invest and stake those tickets to be a shared owner of the platform. We're going to have the pre-sale for Scratchy in the Reap DAO, and before we have this pre-sale for Scratchy, we're going to open up a second tier for the Reap DAO uh, for 1,000 additional members. So we're going to do this by having a restricted 1,000 NFT sale. It will be a whitelisted event. That way we can make sure one bot doesn't buy, all 1,000 NFTs. And each NFT will represent a spot in the DAO. And you'll be able to invest in this scratch ticket pre-sale. Now, the way that the DAO works is you need to hold 300 or more REAP tokens to get access to tier one of the DAO. If you have access to tier one of the DAO, you're going to get a larger allocation, and you're going to have access to essentially some exclusive raises. So if we're hosting a raise that is a very small allocation, it will be we'll do the raise in tier one. But most of the raises, I'll say 80 to 90% of the raises, will be in tier one and tier two. So the NFTs that represent a spot in the DAO, in tier two of the DAO, will cost a tenth of the price of getting into the tier one of the DAO, and the allocations will be a tenth of the size. So essentially, if the tier one has a $30,000 allocation, in tier two you'll be able to get a $3,000 allocation in the pre-sale, but you only have to pay a tenth of the price to get into it. But it's very restricted. We're only having 1,000 spots. We're only opening up 1,000 spots because we want to keep it exclusive. But it's a major opportunity for people to buy those NFTs because we're going to sell them at a reasonable rate, right? At a tenth of the price that you would have to pay to get 300 REAP tokens. But you could sell those NFTs on a secondary market for a markup, which there will be demand since there's only 1,000 of them being sold, and we have over 100,000 active investors in our community. Now, if you join the DAO, you'll be able to be in the first round of tickets that are sold. And the reason why this is important, the reason why you want to be in the first round of Scratchy Stress tickets that are sold, is because it will allow you to stake them to be an initial owner of the platform and get a share of all the BB of the tickets that are sold after it. And Scratchy is something that is a white label service, meaning it's going to initially be hosted on the Scratchy platform, on the Drip platform, and on the Animal Farm platform. But we have a list of other development teams and platforms that also want to host the Scratchy protocol with their theming on their site, and 20% of all the B&B that's used to buy their tickets on their site go to buy back their asset. Also, 0.2% of all the B&B that's used to buy tickets on a platform goes to the person who secures the hosting of the tickets on that site, whether it be a community member that reaches out that gets it done, or the founders or the developers of the site themselves. There's also several online casinos that are extremely interested in hosting this Scratch Ticket protocol on their site as well. So Scratchy is going to be massive. I can't wait to get the documentation out for it. It's going to be finished developed in 9 days. So we're really in the final steps of it, just really putting the bow on it. But the next pre-sale that is going to take place in the DAO will be Scratchy, and there's a handful of other raises that are ready to go right now. I want to have the next one be Scratchy, but that are in review, third party raises similar to Acquirify, which is going to be massive, that we're going to host in the DAO, access to pre-sales. There's also deal flows that I've had recently that are going to be offered to the DAO. For example, cryptoadventures.com is selling their business. They're selling their website, which yields around $300,000 worth of profit a year. They're selling their domain, cryptoadventures.com. They're selling their social media accounts. They have a verified Twitter with, I don't remember offhand, but I think like 150,000 followers of verified Twitter account. And they're, buying the company comes with their partners. It comes with their clients. And I have access to this deal flow now through being an advisor with Acquirify, and these deals will be made available to DAO members. So, there's several really, really quality deals, and especially right now because we're in a bear market, some people, really, really good products, really profitable products, but they need the money now because they have bills to pay and it's a bear market, and they might have mismanaged. Who knows what the case is? But there's a lot of deals right now, and we have access to these deals, and this deal flow will be presented in the DAO. So likely how the deal flow will work is tier one will get access first. They'll get the first look at it, and then we'll move down to tier two. But the way that the pre-sale allocations will work is tier one and tier two will get access to the pre-sale allocations at the same time. It's just that tier one will get a larger allocation, but it costs more money to get into tier one. And the NFTs that are going to be sold for tier two will be sold in both REAP and our other native assets. So, you can buy REAP right now to get into the REAP DAO tier one, but it might be a good idea to get into REAP right now, anyways, because the tier two sale is going to create a lot of demand for the REAP token and our other assets. So, keep that in mind. There's so much information. This is right now. I know I'm speaking to the drip community, so that's why I'm kind of willing to just talk and go, into all these different things. But once we have these deadlines, and I'm speaking on other platforms, I'm really gonna keep it focused on whatever product we're actually trying to market at that time, based on the platform that we're on. But this is just more of an update where I'm just talking freely.
That makes sense. Wow. Yeah, there's actually a lot there. So, maybe in one or two sentences, like, when are we expecting Animal Farm launch? Because I know you said Drip BUS is coming up very soon, and my Drip BUS is waiting to be staked. To be honest, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So when do you think? I don't want to give dates and be held to that date, but just a rough guesstimate,
Yeah. So we have one more thing to finish. It's really about it's really no more than a week or a week and a half worth of work. We then have to get audits done, which take about a week. We should then be able to give dates and have a solid marketing campaign once the dates are structured before we go live. So,
Mm.
uh, you know, I really don't want to give dates, but I would say by,
Yeah.
I mean, I would be surprised if we don't have dates by the end of the month. And really, the goal is to have everything finished and dates by the end of the month, so we can spend next week on the we can spend next month on the marketing campaign. But
Mm.
ideally, it's sooner than that. So
Yeah.
just know we're right around the corner, right? It's been months already. We're weeks away.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's good enough for a lot of the people that really wants to know. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that has been trashed. This might be the last question. Where do you see drip and animal farm in 5 years?
So I would love to see Animal Farm as the premier farm in DeFi, hosting both a lending model that supports all of our other native assets with stablecoins, the model that other development teams want to go to when they want to host a vault or a farm for their own product, um, and really just do what it does best and be a strong, sustainable way where people can earn yield on their assets in a low risk way, knowing that their capital is safe and their collateral is secure. That
Mm.
and really, we just want to do what Animal Farm does very, very well, and
Mm.
we've created a handful of new products to go live with Animal Farm, mainly to create a lot more excitement and just give more utility. But once we get these products out, then I really just want to focus on marketing, heavy marketing, and vaults, partnership vaults, and
Mm.
then it just um, allowing Animal Farm to grow, because it doesn't need more than that. It just at that point it just needs people to use it and for it to grow. So marketing, and for Drip, I want Drip to be utilized by hundreds of different platforms and different different utilities. I want it to be an in-game currency. I want it to be a asset that you need to hold in order to gain exclusive content to content providers. I want it to have a privacy model. I want there to be a bridge that allows people to easily access it, both as fiat on ramps and through various other chains. Through having a fiat on ramp, that would allow us to do things like kiosks, right? Like IRL kiosks and gas stations and stores, similar to Bitcoin ATMs. That's something that we could do. That's something that's very possible. It's a matter of providing the infrastructure, meaning an on a fiat on ramp, and then the community stepping up and wanting to be a part of that. And first and foremost, just a stable staking protocol that's able to sustainably pay out 1% compound interest reliably for years to come, and for people to know they can put their capital in there and they're able to earn 1% compound interest on it, and that price is going to maintain the value. It's not going to be diluted by that 1%. And really, what's needed to do that is marketing, growth, and consistently creating new utilities for Drip. But Drip alone, as long as the marketing is there, can continue to grow at a rate that can maintain the price while paying out compound interest. The additional utilities for it are a bonus, right? So marketing, right? It's what what I want to bring to the table for the rest of 2022 is well structured and well executed marketing. That's marketing strategy. That's what I want to put focus in, because the development is something that we can do. We can innovate, we can build better products than anybody else in the space. I'm confident in that. And marketing is what we need to bring to the table now. And I think we've put together the team and both the firm and the CMO to get that done. And on top of that, I feel that the there's of course I've been developing for a long time now. Like if you want to go back to when I started developing trading tools and Bitcoin on ramps for sports books, I could say a decade, right? 2012. So I've been developing for a long time, and I've learned a lot of lessons. And I feel like all of those lessons have built up to the point where now we've all of the bumps in the road that you hit as a developer when you've been developing for a decade. I feel like we've hit all of them, and we've handled them with grace. We've never lost investor capital. We've always managed things to the best of our ability with integrity, and we're not only going to continue to do that, we're going to do that just in a much more improved way. Like I've learned so much about getting code audited. I've learned so much about managing a development team, and just some of the mistakes I've made, in the past couple years. Uh, I feel like we're really in a place now where some of the small mistakes that were made, uh, you know, just because no one's perfect. Look at our record compared to any other development team record, and we shine. But you're always going to have little bumps in the road. And I feel like we're in a place now where, we can really execute better than we ever have before. And, just the little issues, the little bumps in the road, I don't, I don't see any of those things being an issue. And I've always taken security very, very seriously, which is why we've never had any kind of major breach. We've never had any kind of flash loan attack. We never had any, investor capital lost. But I think I've learned the lessons in execution that I needed to learn to ensure that our future development is as smooth as you could possibly launch in crypto. So, what the rest of 2022 and the future is going to be about is